Cubs leave another win on the table and have to find a new closer. It's a big Monday show.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show and making Locked On Cubs your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day, like the video, and comment anything below. Today's Monday episode, as we kick off another week, is presented by eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to bring home that big win. Keep your car alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit, only available to U.S. customers. The Cubs led 2-1 going into the ninth inning of Saturday's opening game of a doubleheader against the Marlins, and Adbert Alzolay, who was already in the game after getting the final out of the eighth inning, eventually allowed a 2-run homer to Brian De La Cruz. Alzolay blew his already fourth save of the season. The Cubs lost. Alzolay's out of the closer's role, and the Northsiders are left, Sam, with more questions than answers as their struggle to finish close games continues.
Yeah, so before we dive into the Alzolay point, I just want to open with this because I had a tweet I really thought was one of my rare intelligent ones, and I like to talk about it. So a lot of people right now look at the Cubs team, Matt, and you say, hey, 13-9 through 22. You would have taken that before the season. I would have taken that before the season. But last year, and I'm not comparing this team to last year, last year is a good example. If you remember, the Cubs had a very bad May. And Jed Hoyer on a couple different platforms, Marquee, 670, made this point, and it just feels like the same type of point. He goes, yeah, sure, the struggling May is upsetting, but most teams will go through about a 10, 15, 20-game stretch. Heck, the Dodgers have lost 7 of 10 as we speak right now. Most teams will go through one of those rough stretches. And what you want to do in those other times, like right now, when you're playing fairly good ball and you have a chance to close out games, is you want to get those so you could absorb those stretches. So yes, in a vacuum, 13-9 is good, but when you have a game like Sunday where you play sloppy, when you have a game like Game 3 in San Diego where you get blown out, those are just 2 of the 60 losses that every team pretty much has all year. Those don't bother you, but they stick out more when you're losing so many games that you're leading going into the ninth. And no team, no matter who it is, especially not the Cubs, are good enough to just be blowing half the games you're winning in the ninth inning, because you're ultimately going to have a stretch where you start to play poorly, especially with the way Happ and Suzuki being hurt and all these guys. The Astros, very similar team to the Marlins in the sense that their record's not as bad as the way they're playing. They're much more talented than the Cubs. That could be a dangerous series. You got to find a way to win the ones you're supposed to win, especially when you're playing well, so you could budget for these bad stretches. And Adbert Alzolay has ruined that in the beginning for the Chicago Cubs, alongside Hector Neris and some others. So let's talk about him and him losing the closer role.
Yeah, first 21 games of the year, and Alzolay blows 4 games. And at the time, for the 8 losses, now 4 of the 9 after Sunday's defeat. And the 5 games that Alzolay didn't blow, that they just lost, were losses.
They were 5 of the 60.
They were just losses. They were straight up games that you're going to lose. They got blown out 2 of those 5 games. A couple of them closer, one of them kind of in between. So that's going to happen. But when you have a situation where you're down to 3 outs, where you're down to 2, where you're down to 1, and then you keep giving up the leads, that's where it hurts. And they've all been due to the same reason, and that is the ball going over the fence. He did it on opening day. He did it April 8th in San Diego. He did it April 16th in AZ, and then he did it Saturday against the Fish, and it's just demoralizing. It's disasterly. It's upsetting, and all the other adjectives that you want to attach it to is fine. But most of all, it's frustrating because the 4 blown saves have been due to the long ball. And as we break down pitch by pitch some of these ABs, Sam, as you've eloquently done, and really the separator of how you've done it is you break down the ABs prior to the disaster. And he doesn't make an adjustment.
None.
There's no adjustments made.
None.
Zero. And so he's out of the closer's job, but it's been now 2 weeks where when he enters, we hold our breath. And it shouldn't have had to come to this. He couldn't, earn keeping the job, and he's out of there, rightfully so. I'll get a counsel quote in a couple of minutes, Sam, but very disappointing for a player that ascended most of the 23 year, and now he can't finish a game.
So here's the problem with Adbert right now from a baseball side of things. His slider doesn't have the bite that it did for most of last year, and his command has regressed. So you had a guy go from having pretty solid command, I would even say good to great command from the closer role, to a very good slider, good stuff, to now it's very average command and a very average slider. 3 of the 4 game-losing home runs he's given up, he's been in a situation where he's fallen behind. So the Jankowski homer, he goes 2-2. He throws a bad, uncompetitive, poor slider to go 3-2. Doesn't want to walk a punch and Judy hitter like Jankowski. Lays in a slider, home run. Okay. Tatis misses badly inside with a 1-0 pitch, almost hits him, goes, all right, I'm just going to throw his Frisbee slider, get back in the count. Ba-boom. The Marte homer was just an inexcusable 0-1 mistake. That was the worst one of them all for me. And then the De La Cruz one. 2-0 count. You don't have to throw him a strike. And by the way, even if you put him on base, he's their most dangerous hitter, great fastball hitter. You lay a 2-0 fastball, middle in. He already almost hit a grand slam earlier in the game, and he hits a home run. Poor execution, poor pitch selection, poor bite on the slider, poor command. And with Adbert, it's not a leverage thing. This is somebody that's not affected by the moment. That's why he won the job last year. And I thought his response to losing the role on Sunday was pretty good. He goes, I'm coming for that job right back. He's not impacted by the pressure. He's just not a very good pitcher right now. He had a nice low leverage appearance on Sunday, but with the way he's going, he won't have many of them until that slider. He figures out how to get that slider biting, and he figures out where the ball is going.
Craig Counsell on Sunday said this, quote, I don't think Sunday he would be the closer. I said that before the game. The job is always to be able to get 27 outs. The title of closer is not an actual job. It's just to get 3 outs generally, or get 4 outs, or get the last outs of the game. And if in the long run we have to do that in a different way, we'll do it in a different way. If we could get Adbert back to it, that'd be great too. Close quote. Not sure how much I buy that from Counsell, considering we've admired him from afar for really since we took over this show. But the fact is that he was an 8-inning manager his whole Brewers career.
100%.
He had not only a closer, but an elite closer. So kind of a who you crapping moment there for Counsell a little bit. Just because, dude, you had a closer your whole time managing. You didn't have to worry about it, not maybe a couple of days when maybe they weren't available, or maybe they made a brief IL stint or something. So, I think ideally you would have the same person. I think generally speaking, a closer by committee is representative of a bad situation. Not necessarily a bad team, but just a bad situation.
And that's
exactly what the Cubs are in. I have 3 candidates. The one that I least like and I'm least enticed by is Hector Neris. He closed Saturday night's game and didn't look good.
Oh, great minds, man. Great minds.
He allows a lot of hard contact. We'll just put it like that. The 2 other more likely candidates in my mind, or Really one likely, one, outside the box. But let's talk about it, Sam. So we got Neris, but then there's Mark Leiter Jr. Okay. Maybe Neris against righty pockets, Leiter against lefty pockets, and then Ben Brown. What do you think if the Cubs have the lead Tuesday against the Stros? Who pitches?
I think if it's if Tucker and Yordan Alvarez are coming up to bat, it'll be lighter. If it's in the ninth, I really do. First of all, I agree with everything you said. It's beautifully put. But the Cubs are going to be doing a closer by committee for right now. That's what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be one specific guy, and maybe somebody takes over. I think Brown is the best candidate, but you got to remember, even though he's been magnificent so far, closers and relievers are like field goal kickers. Once you miss that 42-yarder to win the game, it spirals. So you feel right now. How great do you feel about Keegan Thompson? Really great. He's going to get more high leverage stuff, but you just don't know. The guys that you're supposed to know about were supposed to be Adbert and it was supposed to be Neris, and both of those guys have been porous. I've said this on the show. This will probably be my 8th or 9th time, maybe 10th. I'm not worried about the bridge getting to those guys. They'll figure that out.
Right.
I'm worried about those guys getting better and doing their job until July, when you'll be able to get some reinforcements in via the trade deadline. If I had to order your situation, I think Mark Leiter's the specialist. So I don't even think he's a qualifier. I think he'll come in different, in different pockets. I would have Brown ahead of Neris. Neris, he can't throw strikes to lefties. He's supposed to be another guy, by the way, Matt, that's good against lefties because, like Leiter, he features a really high-end splitter. And
he's been putrid against them.
He can't throw a strike.
No, he just misses arm side, yeah.
So we'll see. Smiley didn't throw well Sunday.
No.
So there's not a ton. It's not an embarrassment of riches over there.
Well, let's break down the rest of the series because it did end up being a split, and we'll do that coming up next. Today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your car alive. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more, whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one car, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your car alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers.
This episode is also brought to you by Monopoly Go. We've all been there, either as a player or a fan. It's halftime and the scoreboard is not looking good, especially if you're a Phoenix Suns fan. You're feeling low, not sure you or your team can pull out a win. That's when you dig deep. Lift your head up and say to yourself, time to get back in the game, pull off some bank heists, and take as much of my friend's money as I possibly can. That's right. The smash hit mobile game Monopoly Go lets you compete with your friends to get the most riches and the biggest empire. It's the Monopoly you love, but on your phone anytime with tons of new twists, including leaderboards to compare your progress to your buddies. There's so much to do. Play on countless dynamic Monopoly boards, make your friends bankrupt by smashing their landmarks with a wrecking ball, and charge other players rent for your iconic properties. You can even work with your friends to crack open community chests and in tournaments to get extra awards and climb the leaderboard. So get back out there, put on your game face, and download Monopoly Go, now free on the Apple or Google Play Store.
The Cubs play the Astros at 6:40 p.m. Central on Tuesday, and you can hear every pitch of the Cubs hometown broadcast on SiriusXM by searching the Cubs on the SXM app. Cubs split the series with the Marlins following a rainout back on Thursday night. Cubs won 8-3 Friday, lost 3-2, and won 5-3 Saturday, and lost 6-3 Sunday. Kyle Hendricks struggled again Sunday, and we're going to get into that in the larger update in the final segment of this episode. Nico Horner did continue his Nice stretch, 3 for 5. And Keegan Thompson, scoreless streak to lead off this season, now up to 7 innings. Game 2 Saturday after the well-documented Game 1 debacle. Imanaga to Brown to Neris. Imanaga was pretty solid again. 5 strikeouts, no walks,
right.
2 earned runs, 5 hits, 6 innings. Ben Brown did go 2 scoreless. And again, perhaps he'll stay out there for a while. Cody Bellinger and Alexander Canario both hit solo homers, and Michael Busch went 2 for 4 with a couple meaningful hits there. And Friday, Jamison Tyone was outstanding in his season debut. 1 run, 3 hits, and 5 innings. No walks, 4 strikeouts. First pitch strike to 17 of the 18 batters he faced, and a total strike percentage of 74. Where league average is about 62. Sam, no fish fry, no series win. It's a split. What were some observations over the weekend aside from Saturday Game 1 struggles?
2 positive, 2 negative.
All right.
Cody Bellinger, Nico Horner. Belly's starting to look himself again. Showed some signs on that road trip, and he's looking good. Really good to see. Nico, absolutely awesome weekend. Negatives. This is a pair. Alexander Canario in that spot in Game 1, and Craig Counsell putting him in that spot. Yeah. I think my guess is it was just hey, it's full 9 innings for Bellinger. It's full 9 for Busch. But second and third went out. You just saw it on Sunday if you watched the game. Bellinger in those situations, he's just going to lift it over the drawn-in infield. It's not really difficult for him to do. No. Would have given you a chance to win the ball game. Canario, his approach in that situation, even though he hit a home run later that evening, is porous. It's not about hitting the ball out of the park. A ground ball up the middle is the same thing in that spot as a 700-foot home run. And then I think the big thing of the weekend, and really we're going to talk about Kyle, but to me the story of Sunday's game is Christopher Morel. He is in a deep, deep funk, classic young player funk. Actually was hitting the ball fine when he was about 0 for 12, 0 for 13, wasn't getting those results, started to get in his head. And on Sunday's game, he left 7 men on. He left 2 on, bases loaded, and then second and third one out, guessing at pitches, taking pitches for a strike. I almost want to say it's time to move him down in the order a little bit. But do you
think he's healthy?
I don't think it's because of his finger, because a lot of this is swing decisions.
Yep.
And so, I do think, I saw a lot of this on the Cubs message boards and the Reddit pages. Hey, Christopher Morel in his career is only a 230 something hitter, this and that. Like maybe he's just not that good. Listen, I was on record in the offseason saying I thought maybe the Cubs could trade him. But listen, I think he's going to be okay. He is a hot and cold guy. When he's hot, he's hot. When he's cold, he's ice cold. And it's sticking out more, as we talked about on the watch along. By the way, thanks for everybody that joined me on that. That was really fun. Before the madness started. I'm still a +2, but I am 1-2 in bold predictions. We talked about that on the live show, like the watch along. These are the weekends you miss Suzuki, you miss Happ, because there's a lot of pressure now on Morel in the middle of the lineup, when in theory Happ should be leading off. That pushes Belly to 3. Seiya's hitting 2. You feel good. I get it. Every team has injuries, but the Cubs have had a lot. And I think this weekend, in addition to another really rough time for Alzolay, you start to feel these injuries. It's not like you're missing, with all due respect to these guys, Mastroboni and Wisdom. This is this is one of your main guys, your left fielder, and this is the guy that we've deemed publicly on this show the best ball player on this club. So, positive injury reports though from some of these guys. I think Happ will be back Tuesday.
Wow. Yeah, so Ian Happ left Friday's game with left hamstring tightness, same one as in March in spring training where he missed a couple of weeks. But sounds mostly precautionary, and he could be back for Tuesday's series opener against the Astros. Seiya Suzuki did do some light activity Sunday as well, and Justin Steele threw a live BP on the Wrigley Mound Sunday morning.
Very cool.
And we'll go to Arizona this week and then a rehab start. And his teammate Jamison Tyone returned from that work on Friday.
Yeah, he looked great.
And that was really encouraging, right, Sam? And a good jolt to a rotation that has struggled to pitch deep into games.
He meant business. He looked really good. The home run ball he gave up was a cheapie. He looked really good.
Absolutely. And really the rotation outside of one player has mostly been good.
Just not deep enough.
Not deep enough. That does put the bullpen in a bind. It's a vicious cycle. And Kyle Hendricks, who entered Sunday with 4 rough starts already to his resume, struggled yet again Sunday. Is this guy going to make another start? Let's update on Hendricks coming up next. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The sports calendar is loaded, and FanDuel's making it even more exciting to get in on the action. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 you can use to bet on MLB, NBA, NHL, and so much more. We're now into the MLB season, and NBA and NHL playoffs started within the past week, and so there's so much going on. And remember, since Thursday of last week, the Cubs are now favorites for the NL Central crown at plus 210. Cubs Astros line for Tuesday not in just yet. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a big win. FanDuel, official partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. Kyle Hendricks did enter Sunday with 4 rough starts already to his name, and the Marlins entered with one of the worst offenses in baseball so far. So what happened? The Marlins swung again. In the 4th inning alone, I still can't get over this. The Marlins sent 7 batters to the plate and scored 4 runs on 10 pitches. 10. 7 batters, 4 runs, which is unheard of, especially in baseball nowadays. Here is the line on Hendricks, okay? 21 innings flat, 37 hits, 28 runs, 7 walks, 16 strikeouts. 8 of the 28 runs or 8 of the 37 hits are home runs. Rest of the Cubs pitching staff, starters and relievers, has allowed 15. Hendricks has allowed 8 on his own, continues to take a toll on the bullpen because he's only averaging about 4 innings. There is some mechanical things that were revealed on Sunday. Possibly his throwing arm is slightly behind where it is supposed to be. That throws off the timing, which throws off command, and he doesn't have the stuff to make up for those types of mistakes. Sam, another poor outing for Hendricks.
Well, the ball Jesus Sanchez hit actually landed in my lap, and I was in Buffalo Grove at the time. It's one of the farthest balls I've ever seen hit at the friendly confine.
That's got to be a world record, all-timer.
Today just felt kind of forced, right? Like, the weird thing with Hendricks is he starts out fine. He was three innings, 1 earned, 1 game. And then all of a sudden, the 4th inning, a guy is just struggling when the minute that ball landed. I think it was Chisholm, got the leadoff hit that inning. It's a soft single to left. You just go, oh boy, here we go. And he had some unluckiness today, but that's kind of part of the negative when it is with Kyle.
Yeah, because it all adds up anyway.
Even when he's good, he might not be.
Right.
So here's what I think they're going to do next time.
So his scheduled start is Saturday against the Red Sox. Go ahead.
I think they're going to do an opener for him.
Okay.
And I think they're just going to let him go through the order one time, throw 3 to 4 innings, and I think that's what he's going to do until Steele comes back.
But one time through the order is 9 batters.
Yeah, maybe 9
to 3 innings, hopefully.
I would say around 3 innings. So maybe the opener goes 1 or 2, he goes 3, and that's that day.
Okay.
I think that's going to be because he has shown the success through the first 3 innings. He's been at least competent-ish.
Yeah.
And then it just totally goes off the rails 4, 5, or 6. So
could they go 2 times through? Because 3 innings would be 9 up, 9 down.
Yeah, I'm saying skeleton one time.
Okay,
Maybe it's 11 or 12
like
hitters.
1.5 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think, I think that's what they're going to do. I don't know who the opener will be. If they're playing the Red Sox, I'm not super familiar with the Red Sox tops, but maybe if they start out with some lefties, you see Luke Little for 2, and then you go for Kyle for 3, and there you are, and then you go to the bullpen the rest of the way. I don't know. I don't think they could just keep running them out there like this, though, because the lease was so short for him anyway. Smiley ended up having to come in. What's the point?
Right. And Luke Little's not even on the team.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Well, could Drew Smiley open? But he's really a righty specialist.
Maybe it's Smiley. Maybe it's one of the lower leverage.
Maybe it's Neris.
No. Who's even in the pen? Wait, do we even have any lefties that get lefties out anymore?
Well, besides Leiter, no.
Wait, am I imagining it? Little got somebody out this weekend, didn't he?
Well, yeah, he was the 27th man.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
So he
got sent back down right away.
Got it. Okay.
That's the catch.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know. Maybe they do an opener, or maybe it's just Hendricks and Smiley's day, and they just pitch together. I don't know.
Yeah, I do think that more than ever before, I think this could be nearing its end. Yeah, I don't know if they would just send him home. I doubt it.
They're not going to make any sort of major cut type.
Right.
I don't think that's going to happen until Steele comes back. And I don't think they're publicly going to take him out of the rotation until Steele comes back. The only thing I could see major happening before Steele comes back would be an IL trip.
Okay.
But I think you'll see him pitch in Fenway. And I think there's a chance there's an opener, or he's the opener. He goes one time through the order, and then it's just a bullpen game.
Wow.
One of those 2 things.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we did see Counsell pull him after 4 on Sunday. So maybe the leash is getting
which could be pretty embarrassing for him, by the way. If he's let's say he goes 3 shutout innings and then gives up like a leadoff double and he's done. That's
where we're at.
Right. And I'm just saying, if I were him, I almost would be like, you know what? Maybe I go take a trip to the IL. I'd rather that than this.
On Tuesday's episode, we're going to preview Cubs-Astros.
Dangerous series, Matthew.
Yeah, well, the
5-16
franchise.
What's their record? 5-16, and they got 3 guys that would be by far the best players on our team.
Yeah, they got a good lineup still.
Dangerous.
Starting rotation has been the problem for them.
Yeah.
But Justin Verlander is back, and he is throwing against the Cubs this week.
Sure he is.
Hunter Brown and JP France will be the other stars, but we'll preview that for Tuesday.
Well, no, though. Hold on. Let me fact check before we get off the air here, because I believe Javier went to the IL today, and Hunter Brown actually made this. Yeah, Hunter Brown pitched today on Sunday.
You're kidding.
Yeah, Hunter Brown got pushed up, and he continued to struggle. So that's not a good break for the Cubs.
Oh, so maybe they have an emergency starter Tuesday.
It's France, it's Verlander, and then I think it's going to be the Tuesday game is going to be a TBD situation.
So maybe Framber Valdez comes back.
No, he's not ready to come back yet. Yeah.
Also, for the first time in a while, Trivia Tuesday.
Oh,
and who knows what the lead segment will be in that show.
Well, it's a night. Listen, guys. It's been an up and down year. We've left some wins on the table. We're still 13-9. Maybe on Tuesday we'll talk about the 27 Yankees. I mean, the Milwaukee Brewers, who just continue to churn out wins, and the struggling St. Louis Cardinals. But enjoy your Monday off. We've all earned it, because after Monday it's 16 straight days.
Yeah, that's a
of
lot.
Baseball. Bullpen guys, get ready and start your engines.
Thank you so much for checking out this edition of Locked On Cubs. You give us 20 to 30 minutes. Start your engines. That's like an Indy 500 line. Yes. And we'll give you all things Cubs with a laugh or two along the way. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube, smash the like button for the algorithm, and leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcasts. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
Locked On Cubs.